So we're going to look at when b is between 0 and 1. And we're going to look at the first one shows when a is negative, and then we're going to do one where a is positive. So here we've got y equals negative 1 times 1/4 to the power of x. Now, first of all, when we see that negative 1 there in front, or that negative in front, what does that tell you?
You're going in the negative.
Okay, we're going to be negative, okay? All of my answers are going to be negative. So if you have anything up here above the x-axis, then you made a mistake. All right? So when a is negative, all of my answers have got to be down there. All right, so let's make our table. All right, so we're going to use those same numbers, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and we'll go ahead and put +3 in there again. Now, sometimes the scale that you make on your on your paper might be a little bit different too. You know, you don't always have to go by ones. You can go by 2s, by 3s, but just make sure you don't jump around. Okay, it's always got to be the same. So it's 0. So we've got -1 times 1/4 to the power of 0, which is equal to what? -1. Okay, this is 1 times -1 is -1. Okay. All right, and now we're going to go down to 1, 2, and 3. We're going to multiply by 1/4, right? Okay. So what's -1 times 1/4? Okay, -1/4. Right. And what's -1/4 times 1/4? Okay, it's -1/16, right? Because 4 times 4 is 16. So this is going to be -1/16. All right. And then we're going to get -1/16 times 4 is 64. All right. So we're multiplying by 1/4 going this way. When we go upwards, we're going to divide by 1/4, right? Well, what's the same as dividing by 1/4? Okay, Brandon says multiplying by 4. You guys agree? If I divide by 1/4, it's the same as multiplying by 4. Because remember, if I divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by, what do we call that? The reciprocal, okay? When we divide by a fraction, same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So what's -1 times 4? So this is -4. And then -4 times 4 is, okay, -16. All right, so let me alter my window here a little bit. All right. So we're not going to be perfect, but we'll be pretty close. All right, so let's see. I can't put -2, -16 on my graph. That's okay. It's somewhere down here. I understand that. -1, -4, 0, -1, and 1, -1/4. You know what? It won't do that for me either, so that's all right. I've got my handy-dandy marker here. So we get 1, -1/4, -1/16. So they're just going to get smaller. So can I see them? Yeah, I can. I can see the pattern here. All right. And you have to make sure you put arrows on the ends. Do not cross the x-axis. Okay. So after we're done with this, you should have an idea. You should have 4 different graphs in your mind. Okay, if I get this situation, my graph looks like this. If I get this situation, my graph looks like that. Okay, and we'll take a real quick look at them when we're done. Okay, so here we had A is positive, oops, A is negative. A is negative, and B was between 0 and 1. Okay. All right, so how about y equals 2 times 1/4 raised to the power of x? So let's talk about what this is going to look like now. Right? So that 2, our value of A here is, so A is positive. So what does that tell you? Okay, they're all going to be above the x-axis. All right, so I can take my window here then, and I can actually move it down because I don't need negative numbers, right? Okay, I don't need negative y values because I'm not going to have any. So A is greater than 0, and B is between 0 and 1. It's a fraction, 1/4. All right? So we will use all of our fun numbers again. Now, if you haven't figured it out yet, okay, here's a little hint for you. Okay, if you haven't figured it out yet, let's go this color here. This number right here, okay, that's our value for A, right? That always goes here. So this is 2. All right? My y value for 0 is always whatever A is. Okay? Let's look at other ones. Okay? A was -1. At 0, I have -1. Okay? Over here. A was 0.5. At 0, we had 0.5. We did nothing. A was, what's A here? Okay, it's 1 times 2 raised to the power of x. At 0, I have 1. So my value for A is always the y value when x is 0. If you can remember that, it'll help you do this a little bit quicker, because now, what do I do to get 1 and 2? What am I going to do with that 2? Okay, I'm going to multiply it by 1/4. Okay. So what is 1/4 of 2? All right, 0.5 or 1/2, right? Okay. And what's 1/2 times 1/4? Okay, 1/8, which is 0.125. Okay. All right, so we go the other way then. Instead of multiplying by 1/4, we're going to divide by 1/4, which is the same as multiplying by 4. Okay. What's 2 times 4? 8. And 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, that one's going to be tough to get to. All right, we can do it. Let me... don't you wish you could change your window that fast on your paper? Okay. Now, do I need to do this? No. No. I'm good if I can see 8. No. Oh, there we go. Because the whole idea is that I get a real good sketch of the graph, right? And I don't have to have all that stuff. So we've got the point -1, 8. Got it. 0, 2. Got it. Oops, not there. Here. 1, 1/2. Right. And then so on. And then if I'm really good, then on my paper I can just do this. All right. I know. Saves me all my little terrible drawing that I have. Oh, it's spinning. Cool. All right. All right. So you just got to make sure that you then put your arrows on it. Yes. What? Isn't it amazing how straight I did that? Okay. All right. So let's talk about so we need see what this one looks like, right? So if we make a table, and I might even actually have it, I don't, okay. So we've got 4 different things that can happen. All right. A is positive, B is greater than 1. What's it going to look like? Okay. That would be exponential growth, right? So that's going to look like this. It's going to be above the x-axis, and it goes up as it goes to the right. Okay. A is positive, B is between 0 and 1. All right. So if B is between 0 and 1, that means we have decay, right? Which means that this graph is going to go down as it goes to the right. But it's all going to be positive, because if A is positive, my numbers are positive. If A is negative, my numbers are negative. A is less than 0. B is greater than 1. All right. If A is less than 0, all my numbers are negative. And if B is greater than 1, then it's going to go this way. Okay? Because, okay, think about it. If I go from A being positive to A being negative, I'm just taking this graph right here and flipping it over the x-axis. So the farther right I go, the farther away from the x-axis I go. So then when A is negative and B is between 0 and 1, then it's going to look like this one flipped. Everything is going to be negative, and it's going to come up and get closer to 0. All right. Okay, those are the 4 different types of graphs that you have there then. Now, key question for you. All right. All 4 of those lines, all 4 of those graphs cross the y-axis, right? Now don't say it, just think about it. Where do they cross the y-axis? If you know it, don't say it, just think about it. All 4 of them cross the y-axis. Okay, we call that the y-intercept, right? And where do they cross, or what is the y-intercept for all 4 of them? And it happens to be the same general thing for all 4 of them, even though 2 of them are positive and 2 of them are negative. Okay, who knows? Raise your hand if you know the answer. All right, okay, a few of us do. All right, Jenna, what is it?
1.
It is not 1. Good try. Okay, good try. It's not 1. All right, okay, I understand why you think it's 1, okay, but it's not 1. Okay, all right, Brandon, what is it? It is A. Okay, the y-intercept is A, because what did we just say a couple minutes ago? We said at 0, when x is 0, the y value is always going to be A. So the y-intercept is always going to be A. Okay? All right. So here is your assignment then. Oops.